do you handle Rhamondre Stevenson with two fumbles?
Yeah, it's like you sit there and we're so excited about him, and everybody's excited about him. The fans are, and we know what his capabilities are. We got to get him back. We need him.
I mean, I appreciate it, but I got to hold on the ball for to have value and put value on this team. So if I can't help the ball, they don't need me.
Foxborough Rush on your screen right now. Welcome in on a Monday. Right? I feel like you need a sigh after watching that game yesterday. Annabelle Hasselbeck, Jade McCarthy here with you. I'd say it's a relief that it's Monday because it's one day removed. But, man, the Patriots got to find some answers to holding on to the football. I mean, this is just not the type of way that you want to lose football games. AB, we heard Mike Vrabel talk so much about this, right? It's playing sound football. It's playing sound enough football that you don't beat yourself, and you can go out there and win against not great or bad football teams. And this is the stuff that gets you beat. And look, for the fifth straight season, the Patriots now sit here at 1-2. They are the only franchise in the National Football League that can claim distinction to that dubious statistic at this point in time. And it's just not one that certainly anybody on this team wants to be associated with. And this one, it was just maddening to watch. I got to be honest.
Yeah, no, Jade, I feel spoiled from last week getting to have a victory Monday, and then now talking with you here today. The vibe is just different. So it definitely is a bummer. And I think there's different ways to lose, right? And losing in a way that is by fumbling and turnovers is stuff that, like you said, referencing Vrabel, the good, the bad, and the stuff that gets you beat. It's really upsetting because that that's not the standard that they're holding themselves to in that building.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The last time a New England Patriots team had 5 turnovers, it was back in 2008. The last time they had 4 fumbles. Then you're going back to 1992. And then 2 of them, of course, are inside Pittsburgh's 5-yard line. There were so many reasons that there was frustration in this game. And by the end of it, I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, they have a chance to win this, despite the fact that there's already 4 turnovers, and then they turn the ball over again. And look, the reality, on that one by Drake Maye on the fumble he was just trying to play hero again and trying to do too much. And it's like, okay, wait, we're sliding here, right? We took 2 steps forward. We recognized that we can't always be the hero, and you just got to go down and not lose too much yardage and not turn the ball over. And then, he tried to be the hero, and the end result was the end result, and the 4th and 1. I mean, there were just so many different things in this game, maybe. What was the moment that stood out to you the most? Maybe as the one that they need to learn from the fastest, because this doesn't slow down any. If you're going to make corrections, and you got to make them quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, right? There were so many moments that could have been huge momentum changers, even just going into halftime with that interception. And, we talk about the 5 turnovers, but it really could have been 7, right? There was a drop, and then there was something that called back as a penalty. There were multiple other opportunities for there to be more turnovers. I think for me, when it comes down to, the play, I guess I got to go to the end of the game in that 4th and 1 situation and not getting the first down. There are many other teams in the NFL who are able to, maybe they have a terrible game throughout the entire 60 minutes, and then you get down to the wire and you're able to convert in the red zone. You're able to get that last 4th and 1. And I think that's where the Patriots really lacked, in that they weren't able to make up for all of the turnovers with those last second clutch plays, and not even clutch, right? We're just talking about a 4th and 1, just get the first down. So I think for me, that's where it comes in, is hey, the NFL, it's a game of inches, and how can you really win that regardless of what's going on in the game and what's happened? Have to have poise in that moment and not make the moment too big.
Yeah, and have awareness, right? It's just awareness of the situation that you're in at any given time on the field. Let's listen to Drake Maye and Pop Douglas after that 4th and 1 and what they said about it.
I think I I wish I would have told those guys, 4th and 1, just try to, catch it and get upfield. I wish I would have told them that in the huddle. Those little things go a long way. But, yeah, nothing Pop did wrong. Just he was trying to make a play. I wish I would, expecting some type of blitz look. I think they played some blitz trap deal. But, I think, shoot, that's this league. You got the ball tied up, and it costed us, and then we got the ball going down to tie to send it to overtime, and that's the NFL.
That 4th down play, is that designed for you to get to the sticks, or is that designed to go before and make a play?
It was a play. It wasn't designed for anything. It was just.
Did you think you were at the 1st down
No,
area, or you didn't know where you were?
Yeah, I was somewhere by it. I know I was somewhere by it because we only had 2 yards.
So you knew you probably had to make a play, I'm guessing, after you caught the ball.
Facts.
Knew he had to make a play. Obviously, the play went the wrong way. And look, I mean, we heard Julian Edelman, on his Patriots Hall of Fame weekend talk about the fact that Drake Maye is doing a lot more and certainly a lot differently than he did a season ago in this first year, under Josh McDaniels, leading things in the huddle. And you heard him talk there about, man, I wish I had just said maybe a little bit more in terms of where we need to go, or here are the sticks. And, this is what we need to achieve to keep marching down the field. There's a lot going on, no question about it. And he is young in this system. He's young in this game. And you look at the day that he had overall, AB, I mean, he really outplayed Aaron Rodgers in this game. I mean, watching Rodgers, it was sort of like, shoot it this way, this way. Like there was not a lot, down the field from Rodgers. And, Drake Maye finishes 28 of 37, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously the interception that you mentioned, back-to-back games with a passer rating up over 100 for the first time in his career. So look, I mean, you're not sitting there looking at this game saying this was horrible from start to finish, and there's nothing that we want to shine a light on and say, we can learn from this. There's positives to be taken from this game, even on the offensive side of the ball. But I think what's so frustrating is that what takes over the light are the turnovers, right? And just the inability for them to make the play late when they had to make the play, avoid the interception, late in that first half, and then just punch it in when you're in the red zone, as opposed to turn it over. And this is one of those things that this team is going to have to fix this, and they're going to have to fix it quickly, AB.
Yeah, I mean, they do. And I think in that moment, too, Drake is being the leader and trying not to put any blame on any of his wide receivers, especially Pop. At the same time, you got to know situational football for your team. Regardless of what that is, whether you were trying to get to the sticks or not, or that wasn't how the play was designed, you need to get a first down, right? And so I think regardless, it's just for the entire team to have that next level of focus and intensity in that moment, being able to pull it out. But like you said, those other things, and the pass protection and holding on to the ball, and if you can't take care of the ball, nothing else matters, right? Penalties, all those things really go away unless you can take care of the ball. And you really, it's a non-negotiable. You either have to win in those end of game moments and be able to tie it up in that 4th and 1, or you can't have the turnovers that you have.
Yeah, no, you can't. I mean, I think even Vrabel said, look, you turn the ball over 5 times, you might have a 5% chance to win a football game. And that's just the reality. I mean, these games are hard enough to win week in and week out with the competition and the parity in this league. You can't do it when you're beating yourself play after play after play, which is exactly what the Patriots did. And as you might imagine, walking up to the podium today, the very first question that Mike Vrabel got was, okay, one night removed, having, watched the way everything went down, how do you fix the turnovers? How do you fix the fumbles? Let's listen to Vrabel today at Foxborough.
Well, we got to continue to practice the crap out of it. We also have to do a better job of protecting said person with the ball, whether that's the quarterback, whether that's the running back, or the receiver. And we're all responsible for the security of the football. and starts with the person who has it, and then it falls on the people that are blocking. And again, we'll continue to rep it, and if we have to put two hands on the football and when we're going through there, that's what we'll have to do. The only thing I know how to do is to continue to practice it and work it. But then also, maybe it's not so much the person that you see, it's the one you don't see. And there was a few opportunities that we can show them here in a little bit of that. And yes, the person is responsible for taking care of the football. But again, the other people are also have a critical job in ball security.
I think the message there is clear, AB. I mean, he is putting this square on every single player on this team. He's not trying to shine the light on one person. If anything, he's trying to do the exact opposite of that and say, look, I mean, this is up to each and every person. And we have some opportunities to show that, I think, to these guys. I mean, that's what he was alluding to. Like, we have some plays that we can put before them so they can see it's not just the guy who loses the ball, it's the guys around him. So this is to me, this is Mike Vrabel speaking to his team, saying this is not just on one. We are a team, and we have to be a team together the entire time, and this falls on everyone.
Right. And he doesn't want to also sound the alarms to every other NFL team that his running backs can't hold on to the ball, right? Like, he has to protect his team in some way in a media front and probably to publicly help the confidence of your running back, because he's like, I need Rhamondre. Like, right after the game, that was one of the first things he said. He's like, I need him. We need him to do what he did for us in week 2, right? In what they saw that he can do in the past. And so I think number one, it's probably, hey, I got to make sure that I look strong and my running back group is strong and can hold on to the ball so that we don't have people, sensing blood in the water, right? At the same time, behind closed doors, those are going to be some really intense conversations. And I think too, with the ownership, not putting it on one guy, it also helps your team remember that, like, if someone turns it over, it's not like just on that person. Okay, they can't turn it over. Everyone else is exempt for their first, free pass. This is a whole team stat. And just moving forward with that, I think it's interesting how Vrabel has really taking the approach to not only put it on one person, but more so even talking about the blocking, because we were talking about that when there are offensive line problems last season, and even the preseason. Maybe Rhamondre, it'll be different here. So it is interesting to see how Vrabel has talked about it, but I think it's the most protecting his team publicly.
Yeah. No, I mean, and he has to, right? Just like you said, and he said, this team needs Rhamondre Stevenson. And look, Mike Tomlin said after the game, they know that he's had some issues, turned it over 7 times, fumbled it 7 times last season. So it was an agenda item, I believe, was the way Mike Tomlin phrased it going into this game. But if you looked at the running back snaps going into the game yesterday, Rhamondre Stevenson had 85 snaps with the ball. Travion had 44 and Antonio Gibson had 15. So it was a huge fall off, from Rhamondre. And obviously, I think he sat out like 11 snaps yesterday following the fumble, and, played 2 after he lost the second one. So we certainly saw a change and a shift happen, after he coughed up the ball for a second time. But moving forward, there's no doubt that this team needs him. We saw what he was able to do against the Dolphins a week ago. So they do have to find a way to move forward and to incorporate him, and for him to have the success I think that they believe he's capable of having. He also spoke about how he wants to try and move forward and find more success and find ways to hold on to the football.
The same thing. Just attack practice like I do each and every day. Just have ball security at the top of my mind right now.
Do you feel like it's a mental block, or is it just something that you can like put your head down in practice and just?
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna do both though. I'm gonna go, practice physically and try to get it out my head mentally.
Coach Vrabel was in there talking like, "We need you." Those are his words. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I appreciate it, but I got to hold on the ball for to have value and put value on this team. So if I can't help the ball, they don't need me.
Look, I mean, you got to give him credit for taking ownership at the end of that, right? For just saying like, that's great. Like, I'm glad he feels like he needs me as the head coach of this team. But the reality is if I can't do what I need to do and hold on to the football, then I'm not going to be able to help them. Like, kudos to him for owning it in that moment.
Yeah, I think that was a very impressive response to the situation, and just feeling the hurt that he probably felt in the middle of that game, right? And I think the concerning piece for me is, as an athlete, you build confidence, and Vrabel talked about him having to build confidence. You build confidence in games. Like, yes, you can prepare and practice and go as hard as you can and make it as game-like as possible, but where you are able to most gain confidence is when you rep out what you've been practicing or what you've been struggling with in a game. And so, yes, you can attack practice, you can make it physical, you can have all the guys on the Patriots trying to rip the ball out from him, but I really think it's going to take reps in games, holding onto the ball in tight situations when you got three guys on you, people punching it out. Like, it's going to be a hard task to be able to build up that confidence in games, and you have to be given the opportunity, right? Like, say the Patriots wind down some of his reps and carries, that's less opportunity for him to build that confidence. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Rhamondre is able to find his footing back after this.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see how the Patriots approach it too, right? I mean, we've heard Vrabel say they need him. We need him. But do they start to split the reps a little bit more? Or do they, say, okay, like, we're like, this is the shot, right? We got the Panthers coming up, and we're going to feed you the ball and see if you can have a game like you did against Miami. There's a number of different ways that they could handle this, and they'll certainly do some of it internally this week, but then externally we'll find out exactly how they plan to handle it against the Carolina Panthers next Sunday. So look, I mean, it's a frustrating game in the sense that you look at the number of ways in which the Patriots had this one wrapped up. Like, you look at the box score of this one, AB, and like, you check off so many of the things you want to, like 26 versus 17 first down, 6 of 13 on the third down conversion. They ran 71 versus 49 offensive plays. They outrushed them. They outpassed them, right? I mean, the penalties were pretty much even. Time of possession, 33 and change versus 26, and then it's just the break out the highlighter because it's 5 turnovers versus 1. And when you do so many things and you win basically every category that you have to win, except you turn the ball over 5 times. It's pretty much what Vrabel says. It's like you have such a slim chance of winning a game when you lose that one statistical category. And that's why they got to fix this, and they got to fix it fast.
Well, Jade, that's why I think it was so, and not to take it off of the Patriots, but Steelers, come on. That's all you got? The Patriots handed you these turnovers and they were not able to capitalize on them really in any way. I mean, the Patriots very well could have gotten the first down, gone down, scored a touchdown, tied the game up. It's still then it'd be 21-21. I just think, if anything, if we want to, not worry too much about the Patriots on this side, we'll talk about the Steelers. I think that's a huge loss opportunity for them. And that they're going to be having internal conversations of how that went down on their side.
Oh yeah, no question. I mean, the fact that the Patriots had a chance in this game, despite turning the ball over as many times as they did, it is as mind-boggling as the rest of it. I mean, there's no question about it, and that's where the you got to be able to win against the teams that don't play good football. and you can't beat yourself. And that's so much of what Mike Vrabel harped upon, right? Like, this is the stuff that loses you games. And we saw that right before our eyes in Foxborough. And, we heard Vrabel a week ago, look, it's easier to coach him hard after a win. Like, you got some good vibes going. But the reality is that the hard coaching is definitely coming this week, because this is a game that the Patriots absolutely could have won yesterday. And many reasons, backed that up, but of one glaring one, in which case they just could not overcome. And it was just like over and over and over again. It was maddening to watch, for sure. We'll try to find some bright spots in this one. That is still ahead here on Foxborough Rush. And the needs improvement, well, I mean, clearly we know one area that needs improvement, but we'll highlight a few of them as we're off and rolling on a Monday right here on Foxborough Rush. Oh, it's a Monday after a tough loss in Foxborough, as the Patriots have yet to win one at home on the season, sitting now with a 1-2 record in Mike Vrabel's first year as the head coach here in New England. And as always, gotta hand out some needs improvements, gotta hand out some kudos for some plays. Well done here, AB. So let's just do the needs improvement first. I feel like I need to have some optimism at the end of this, so let's get our
I'm so okay with that one for right now.
Let's get our need improvement check done with here. Start me up with your number one NI on your report card on this Monday.
All right, my number one NI, and I think it's self-explanatory, but I think just the running back room as a whole. I talked about it a little earlier in the show, but turnovers, as much as they might seem like an individual stat, really it's just a massive alarm and warning to the rest of your team. Hey, do not do this. Like, we cannot afford this to happen. Don't let the wheels fall off. And I think especially within your position group as well. Like, if it happens, okay, well, maybe have it happen somewhere else on the team. But for turnovers to come from two of your running backs, I think that's a huge concern for me. So I think just, your job is ball security. Your job is to take care of the ball. And I just feel like that's a real issue, and it's something that needs improvement, of being able to stop the flow, get your group together, have an extra focus, extra emphasis, 2 hands on the ball, 4 points of contact, whatever. It's going to be someone who you don't see coming for you, just like that extra level of awareness within your own position group. So I think for me, it would have to be just the running back group's ball security for this week 3 game.
Yeah, 100%. There is no other place to start than right there in the running back room. And look, I mean, to be fair, I think every one of them will be looking themselves in the eye and saying, we got to take care of this, and we got to figure it out fast. Because as we said, this was a point of emphasis. There was an agenda item for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers going in. Well, guess what? It's going to be an agenda item for every single team that faces the New England Patriots until they prove that they can demonstrate ball security. Because every single player is going to go, oh, yeah, Cam Hayward, boom. And like, they're going to go in and they're going to try to do the same exact thing that, this Steelers defense did yesterday. So the Patriots have to address this. We heard, Mike Vrabel talking about the fact that, look, we're just going to have to practice the crap out of it. I mean, like, that's the reality.
Yeah. That's as honest as an answer you can get. We're just going to practice the crap out of it. Like, I just loved it. I was like, it's so simple, but like, you're not wrong. And nobody can refute that, right? Like, what else do you want me to say? I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I think they're all going to be just carrying a football around every single place that they go all week. Like, take the ball and don't let it go. Like, make it an appendage of yours that you cannot be rid of, because that's just where they need to get as a group. So the running back room certainly tops the NI list this week. Where else you going here?
Yeah, I think for me, and it's a moment. It was right before half. It's you're practically in the end zone, and the Patriots throw the ball 3 times, end up getting nothing out of it besides an interception. You go into the half with that kind of momentum, and Drake Maye talked about, hey, maybe I could have had a different flight on the ball, and he was taking ownership of it, but I think really help out your quarterback. He just got hit. Help him with a run play. Do something that maybe you're close to the end zone. So I think for me that was just a moment. I don't know if I'm gonna put that on the NI on the play caller, because I really do trust Josh McDaniels with his success that he's had with the Patriots and in the league. But that was just surprising to me that the Patriots would have that drive in that series. Incredible to get downfield, and then you go into halftime on an interception. So I think that had to be just a standout moment for me that really left me just a little confused, honestly.
Yeah, I would go with the moment late in the game, the 4th and 1, and you gotta just keep moving the ball down the field. And we heard Drake talk about, I wish I had brought that up in the huddle and really tried to shine the light on exactly where we were. And ultimately we saw Pop Douglas try to make a move and went the wrong way, and that's it, game over. Steelers take over on downs. But to me, it's again, it's situational awareness on the field of where you are and the way you have to approach it, and what you need to get done, right? And Vrabel talked about, we talk about knifing all the time, and trying to figure out how do you get your way there for that 1 yard that you need to move in the right direction. But again, it's having that awareness of where you are so that you can knife your way through and live to play another down, and have a chance to come back and win a game that you quite honestly have no business winning.
No business, but they could have, because the Steelers didn't do anything with the 5 turnovers the Patriots gave them. That's still blowing my mind, but that was my third NI, and I'm just going to elaborate on what you said. The huge controversy in the NFL right now are these tush pushes, all right? People are getting, these 4th and 1s, 4th and 2s, no problem. Look at what the Eagles are doing, and, is illegal, is it not? They're making it happen. And so I think I was just jealous in that moment. You see some of these teams that don't blink an eye when they're in situations like that, and here the Patriots are, and they don't even have the opportunity to tie up the game. They couldn't even get down the field to get that first down, and you saw their success on 4th downs earlier in the game, and to not be able to convert this one, it was just disappointing. So yeah, I think for me it's the tush pushes are working for some other teams. Maybe we could use that as check the box. We know what's going to happen, no worries, no problems. So that would have to be the third NI for me.
Yeah, and I think it goes to what Mike Vrabel has talked about since the very first day that, he stood there as the head coach of this team, and that is the line, right? I mean, it's having to, winning the game in the trenches. If your line isn't dominant, I mean, you look at that Eagles offensive line, they are so dang good and consistent. And that's a huge part of why, the tush push, the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, that is why it works. It's a huge part of it. I mean, I know that Jalen Hurts can sit there and bench 800 pounds, and that's not a contributing factor, because it is, but it's the line. And look, I mean, Vrabel addressed it. They're going to have to continue to work on it. We saw really strong line play, against Miami. I thought yesterday it was mixed again. And this is going to be a work in progress. We all know that this is a very young offensive line. But clearly they're having their 2-step forward, couple steps backward, just like much of this team is having. I thought overall, just in the red zone yesterday, for my last needs improvement, I don't at this point, it's almost whether it's an interception or a fumble or you get into the red zone, you got to find a way to put points on the board. Period. That's it. You got all the way there. You've got to find a way to convert and put points on the board. There's too many teams that can put up too many points in this league. You're not going to find a way to win games, putting up 14, 16, 20 points. It's just too hard. It's too hard in the NFL that has put points at a premium, at this day and age of the game. So in the red zone, they got to find a way to convert. Okay. Let's find some optimism. Please, I need some optimism here, AB.
All right, I got
who do you
you.
have some flowers for?
Yeah, I'll give some flowers to Hunter Henry, who's the best offensive player for the Patriots yesterday. Broke a few records too while he was at it. I thought, which was awesome, and congrats to him. 8 catches, 90 yards, and he converted on those 4th down and 3rd down plays when you needed him. And he really just has, over the last 3 weeks, further established himself as that go-to reliable person and player for Drake Maye. And so I really think it would be extremely hard to picture what this team and what this offense would look like without him.
Yeah, 100%. He is certainly on my list too this week. I feel like there's like good bestie vibes between Drake Maye and Hunter Henry, right? Like it's that like, I got you. Because we see it time and again, right? I mean, it's just there's some comfort, I think, for Drake to go to Henry and know that he's going to be there. He's going to make the catch. He's going to find the space. He's going to get open, whatever the case may be. And for him to go out and have the game that he did, I thought was significant. You got to find things that you can build on, especially after a demoralizing loss like the one that the Patriots basically handed themselves yesterday. And so Hunter Henry is one of those bright spots for me, and one of those places that the Patriots can look to continue to build upon. Who else you got here that is deserving of a shout out?
Yeah, I got the captain, Robert Spillane, and coming off of last week, there's a lot of heat coming toward the linebackers, and just for their missed tackles. And look what he did this week. Like, you pick off Aaron Rodgers in the 3rd quarter, he had 15 tackles, and he just came out to play, and that's what you needed from this defense. It's what he needed, and I thought, when someone needed to show up, he did. And there were a lot of ways that this defense carried the Patriots throughout this game. Imagine what it would have bbeen like if they also didn't have if they didn't have the game that they did and put the pressure on Rodgers that they did and get the turnovers that they did. But yeah, I think I got to give Spillane flowers for showing up when they needed him most.
Yeah, I would totally agree. He was actually the top one on my list because I think there was a huge emphasis on tackling, right? We talked about it last week, how coming out of Miami, this team had to wrap up the tackles. And we really saw him struggle with that a week ago, down there in South Florida. And for him to go out there and really wrap it up, and like you said, have the 15 tackles that he did, to have the interception that he did, I thought that, the light shone upon him, and he stood up and was like, okay, I got this. I'm going to answer this, and I'm going to find a way to make a meaningful impact out there on game day against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's exactly what he did. All right, give me one more bright spot that you were honing in on yesterday.
Yeah, well, I might throw you a curveball, and it's not a Patriots guy. It was a Patriots guy. Jabril Peppers. You come to town, you force a fumble, and you get a fumble recovery of your own. Your first snaps, your first game, really getting snaps in as a Steeler. And, he said before the game that this game meant more. It was highly emotional for him. He had to find a way to keep it in check. And, I thought it was funny. I saw someone after the game say, wouldn't it be cool? They drew a Patriots jersey on Jabril Peppers, the Steelers. Wouldn't it be cool if the Patriots had him? Like, wouldn't that be great? Like, this is a great player, kind of making a joke out of it. But I just thought that was funny. He was one of the last guys on the bus. He just wanted to stay in the locker room and really bask it in. So I think I'll give Peppers some flowers. It's hard to come into stadium from a team that cut you and, high emotions, and be able to come up with 2 big time plays that he did. I think it's worth giving him a little bit of a shout out there.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I thought, he talked the talk, and he came in and he walked the walk. And he said, like, when he was no longer a member of the Patriots, he was like, I can still play this game, and I can still go out, and I can still have a meaningful impact on a team. And he showed that yesterday. He backed up exactly what he said when he found out that his home was no longer here in New England, and kudos to him for doing it against New England. I would give some flowers really just to the Patriots defense in this one. Look, we know that the Steelers have not exactly been flying down the field of late, but they still put up 34 points to beat the Jets in week 1. So I will give the Patriots credit that, when you looked at the box score of this game, they held Rodgers to 139 yards and they only gave up 64 on the ground. So they had their team in this to win this yesterday. So I think from a defensive perspective, you got to give some credit where credit is due. Speaking of the Jets, did you see Aaron Glenn dancing down the sideline yesterday?
I laughed so hard at that. I immediately wanted to text you and our producer Brendan the video, and I was like, oh, we can't show game footage. I was so mad. I thought about every single way that I could find that clip and get it in this show. I mean, you can't even make that. It looked like it was AI. It literally looked like it was AI the way he was moving. It was hilarious. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I'm going to be rooting for the Jets just so I can see more of that.
Oh my gosh. It was amazing. And it was I looked at my son and I was like, two AFC East games with great moments captured on the sideline, with Mike Vrabel's sprint last week down in Miami, and then Aaron Glenn with his, I don't even know what that move was, but it was so good. It was so good. And look, I know, not very long later, he was like, oh gosh, here we go, Baker. But still, for that moment, it was worth it. All right, still ahead here on Foxborough Rush. We'll check in on the newest inductees of the Patriots Hall of Fame, and it's a Monday, so we got some overreactions coming your way. Stick around. We'll see you back right here on the other side. Foxborough Rush coming back at you on a Monday, and you know what that means. Time for some overreactions in and around the National Football League coming off of week 3. And I just real quick, off the top here, I swear, AB, week 3, September, I still feel like there's preseason games happening before us sometimes. So many teams just, they don't even look like they're close to what we're going to see when we hit, November, December.
No, you're so right. You're seeing shutouts, right? I had to double check with you earlier on the show off camera. Did the Falcons really get shut out? Just things that you wouldn't expect, right? I think a lot of it too has to do with just some serious injuries around the league that have plagued a lot of teams. But they cut a preseason game, and maybe we're seeing the effects of it roll over a little bit.
Oh yeah, I totally think we are. I mean, no pads during the off season, only 3 preseason games. A lot of guys don't even play in the preseason. I think 100%, we are still seeing the impact of all of that. All right, let's get to the overreactions here. I just had to throw that out there because it's kind of driving me a little crazy. Let's talk about the Falcons. They moved to him a little bit late in the game yesterday. Should the Falcons bench Michael Penix Jr. and go back to Kirk Cousins? Overreaction?
You know what? I think Kirk Cousins is an incredible quarterback. And last year he was coming back from a major injury and he was dealing with something with his shoulder. So I think they should be able to compete. But after the game, Raheem Morris really shut the door on that. He was asked, will there be a competition? He just said no. No hesitation, just said no. And I think regardless of whatever position you play, especially the quarterback position, there should always be a competition. You need to have a high standard of play to lead your team. And so, yeah, I think you should always be competing. And I think, that was a terrible loss. Like you said, you've seen some great moments from Penix throughout the season, however. But yeah, I do have a lot of faith in Kirk Cousins for what they brought him here to do, right? It was kind of interesting how they went about drafting Penix in that whole situation after bringing Kirk Cousins in with the massive contract. And so, yeah, I think this could definitely be a situation where they should at least give him the opportunity to compete.
Yeah, $180 million backup. I mean, that's what he is right now. I don't think you can pull the plug on Penix Jr. I mean, you've given him the job. He's made 6 starts in the National Football League. So to go out there and do what he did yesterday, that's probably just going to be part of the learning curve when you're a young player and you didn't exactly sit for all that long and watch. It's very different than, at least currently, how the Giants are handling Jackson Dart, which is more out of the Pat Mahomes playbook. But from what I understand today, Atlanta is still willing to deal Kirk Cousins, and they want a premium pick to do it. But that caught my attention because you look at all the injuries that we're already seeing this early on to quarterbacks. You might think that would encourage them to hold on to him a little bit more. But, they're doubling down that they would still be willing to move him in a trade should they be able to get the premium pick that they want and obviously ride with the quarterback that they are planning on riding with in Michael Penix Jr. The end of the Eagles game yesterday. Oh my goodness, right? I mean, my house was like mayhem. My husband grew up in Philadelphia. So it was total mayhem in my house. And it was funny because I looked at him and I looked at my kids and I was like, well, they already blocked one in this game. And they're looking at me going, no way, Mom. And I was like, well, they did it once and then they did it again. Right?
Look at you.
Oh my gosh. But look, will the Eagles go undefeated? They will. Overreaction or not?
I think it's an overreaction only because of the way that they were able to win that game. You're not going to block 2 field goals every game. And I actually had the same feeling as, just watching that game. I was just trying to look at the crowd. I wasn't looking at the touchdown celebration or, anything else, the team, running on the field. I was just excited to see the crowds. Oh, that would be so nice to be an Eagles fan right now. I thought the same things about the Bills last week. I put it up on social media. I'm like, man, sometimes I wish I was a Bills fan. That just looks so fun being able to celebrate like that in your home stadium. But yeah, I think just because of the way they lost, this is clearly a resilient team. But just because of how strong the rest of the teams that they're going to play are, I think you can't say they're going to go undefeated the entire season.
Yeah, it's early. It is early, right? Like, remember how we started, right? Like, there's teams that are going to look very different 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks from now than they do right now. And by the way, the Eagles have to go play Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, who haven't yet lost a game as well next week. So, look, there's a lot of football to be played here. But I will say this. Nobody wants to play the Philadelphia Eagles because we've seen them win with the run. We've seen them win with the pass. Hello, A.J. Brown. I mean, my goodness, yesterday. And we've seen them win with special teams. So they're not high on the list of everyone who wants to face them, needless to say. Okay, how about the Vikings? Their defense will carry them to an NFC North title. Overreaction?
The Vikings defense is awesome. And Brian Flores, that's the part of that team that will carry them if they were to get to the NFC title. I do think it's an NFC or an overreaction, just because that is a hard feat. You look at the other teams that are competing for that, and they have a hard stretch. I think they go Eagles, Chargers, Lions, Ravens coming up this season. So for me to leave it all on the defense, I also think your offense plays a part in that. And right now they have a little bit of an unsettled quarterback situation. We'll see what happens when JJ gets back. But I think, I don't know if I can fully say that for the Vikings defense carrying them all the way. But they have played pretty outstanding and really did against the Bengals offense yesterday.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Isaiah Rodgers, he outscored the entire Bengals team on his own. It was crazy to watch the kind of day that he had. I mean, goodness gracious, have a day, kid. But look, Carson Wentz to go out there, sign with the team 3 weeks ago, have the day that he did. Kevin O'Connell being like, look, I am the least surprised person in this stadium that Carson Wentz went out there and did what he did. Said he will get at least one more start for this Vikings team. It'll be against the Pittsburgh Steelers over in London. This defense is definitely going to help them along the way. I don't know if I'm willing to say, the title's theirs because of the defense, at least not this point in time. I would note that my 10-year-old son was pumped because he had the Viking defense on his fantasy team yesterday. So I got lots of running.
Hey, maybe you can invite him on the show. He can do his reactions and overreactions one day.
So excited. Okay. What about the Texans? I mean, this has been a rough start for this Texans team. They can't score points, AB. CJ Stroud is going to be remembered as a bust. Overreaction?
Yeah, I think that's already a wrong statement. Like he's proven that that's not true. You saw what he did in his rookie year, and he's been plagued by a tough group that surrounded him. You know, you change your OC. Nico Collins was struggling with some injuries. He fumbled a perfect pass yesterday, and the O line isn't great. They're not doing an awesome job of protecting him. So yes, could CJ Stroud be playing better and executing at a higher level? 100%. But it's not just on the quarterback, and so I think that phrase is definitely an overreaction, but total shock that the Texans have fallen to 0-3 the way that they have. And, you know, that's what makes it so fun to watch the Colts, I think, in that division. I think that's why everybody's kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? But yeah, definitely an overreaction, I think, in my eyes, based off of his prior success.
Yeah. No, I would totally agree. It's an overreaction. I think CJ Stroud can play this game. I think he's proven that he can play this game, albeit not a very large sample size, but the way he played his rookie season was tremendous. They revamped the offensive line, and it's not working right now, and it's making his life very difficult. And we're seeing that overall. I mean, their offense is averaging like under 13 points per game. Again, like I said this before, you can't win games in this league if that's the number of points that you're putting up week in and week out. All right, we got one more for you. So let's just go to the Colts because you mentioned them. They are the best team in the National Football League. They've punted one time this season. And they are scoring on 77% of their offensive possessions. Overreaction?
Jade, when you name those numbers, I'm like, yeah, like take them. They're the best team in the NFL. But it comes with the prior years and the prior knowledge of what this team is, and in the unknowns too. You know, new quarterback. He's played amazing so far. He could have a totally turn in his career, kind of like Sam Darnold did last year with the Vikings. But I don't know if I can say that they're the best team in football. But I feel wrong not to notice those numbers that you're saying, and you look at the closer games that some other teams have had. I don't know. I mean, they're doing pretty well right now.
Yeah, they got to love the way they've started this season. I don't think there's any question about that. I think you do look at they've played Miami, Denver, and Tennessee, so you're not talking about like cream of the crop of competition here. I don't think they're the best team in the National Football League standing here at this juncture, but I think if they continue to play the way they're playing, they're going to be in the conversation. I mean, look, like they're doing what they need to do within the division right now. So keep doing that and start talking to me, and after Thanksgiving, right when the season starts, as Tom Brady always used to say. All right, got to get a quick break in, and we'll talk about one of Tom's favorite targets on the other side, right here on Foxborough Rush.
I'll always be proud to say I'm a New England Patriot. And this place made me who I am today. And now, to be part of its history is the greatest honor of my career. So thank you to the Kraft family. Thank you to my coaches. Thank you to my teammates. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes. Thank you to my friends and family. And thank you, Patriots Nation. And thank you to football for giving me a life I could never have dreamed of. And I want to wish everyone a happy new year coming up. Shana Tova and Foxborough forever. Thank you.
Julian Edelman, as he is inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, along with, of course, the legendary Bill Parcells standing up there after donning the red jackets, of course, AB. This was a fun one. All the different shout outs, of course, to both of these, both coach and player who clearly found their way to leave indelible memories on the National Football League.
Yeah, and I always think it's funny when athletes give a shout out like to the sport as a noun. Like and shout out, thank you, football. Like you could hear someone in the fan base saying, Amen. I'm like, girl, she loves her football. Like, okay. She really loves her football. But no, I mean, what a clean jacket. Like, love the red. It's just beautiful. And what an awesome way to just be honored and really the golden era, right? Like incredible just for me to be able to live in Boston during that time when Edelman was throwing me t-shirt in the parade. Yes, I caught it. I talked about it last week. Pretty awesome. But no, those speeches are hard and definitely well communicated.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and look, I mean, the shout outs, obviously that's part of it. I think the greatest thing about this sport is that it is such a team game. And you're not doing any of it without, the people around you, the other players on the field that have to be part of your success, with the coaches who push you and support you to put you in those situations where you can make the plays. And we so often saw Julian do it in the postseason, right? I mean, you look at his playoff numbers and they were just through the roof, right? Third all time in postseason catches, 118 of them, 6 touchdowns, played in 19 playoff games. We know he was a favorite of Tom Brady's, and so many memories. I think, like you said, being in this area during that time, and just every year it was like, all right, like, here we go. The season starts, and it doesn't really start until after Thanksgiving, right? Because it went until February. Like, that was just the way it was.
That's why we have such a high standard for the New England Patriots, and it's why this Monday feels the way it does, Jade. So hopefully they can tap into some of that golden era magic and do well next Sunday.
Yep. They got the Carolina Panthers coming in, which, I think it's one of those things that if you said that a week ago, you might be like, all right, I feel pretty confident. But the Carolina Panthers found some confidence yesterday against the Atlanta Falcons in their shutout victory. So, as I said earlier, there are no easy wins in the National Football League. So the Patriots have some work cut out for them to find a way to hold on to the football and march down the field and score some points next weekend against the Panthers. We'll be back on Wednesday. Enjoy the football tonight. See ya.